The power of unity, healing the divide within the Black community. When I had the opportunity to interview Belinda Hunt, I was struck by something far more profound than her eloquence or her insights. I was struck by her courage, the rare kind that doesn't just speak truth to power, but speaks truth to community. In a world where we're often encouraged to keep our criticisms behind closed doors, Belinda stands as a beacon of authentic accountability, challenging us all to look deeper at the fractures within our own walls before pointing outward. Her unwavering commitment to truth telling isn't just admirable, it's revolutionary. Because as she reminded me with unflinching clarity, we keep talking about healing, but we can't heal what we won't acknowledge. Those words didn't just resonate with me, they shattered something inside me. Because what we're not acknowledging enough, what we're tiptoeing around in our conferences and our conversations, is how the fragmentation within our own community is slowly, systematically undermining our collective power. Let me paint this picture more vividly. The divisions between Black men and women have deepened into chasms. The disconnect between generations has calcified into mutual dismissal. The gap between those who made it and those still struggling has widened into separate realities. These aren't just uncomfortable topics for Sunday dinner, they're active barriers to our liberation, barriers we've helped construct. But let me be absolutely clear. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's about all of us looking in a mirror together, unflinchingly. Because unity isn't some abstract concept, it's the difference between thriving and merely surviving. When we examine our history, we find powerful, undeniable evidence of what unity can accomplish and devastating reminders of what division can destroy. Consider Greenwood, Tulsa, known as Black Wall Street. In the early 20th century, this wasn't just a neighborhood with a catchy nickname. It was a testament to what Black excellence, unity, and economic self determination could build when given even the smallest chance to flourish. Doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, a community where the dollar circulated dozens of times before leaving, where Black people supported each other's businesses, dreams, and families without question or hesitation. But what happened in 1921? A white mob, fueled by racial resentment and the existential threat that Black success posed to white supremacy, destroyed 35 city blocks in a matter of hours. Hundreds dead or injured, thousands left homeless. An entire community's wealth and work, generations of building and believing gone in a flash of hatred and flame. The official death toll was recorded as 36 people. But we know better, don't we? Historians now estimate between 100 and 300 people were killed, bodies dumped in mass graves or the Arkansas River, lives erased from official records, but never from our collective memory. Let that sink in for a moment. Really sit with that reality. But here's what's equally important: the survivors rebuilt, they advocated for recognition, they kept the memory alive through memorials, exhibits, and education. They understood that accountability, both within the community and from those who perpetrated the violence, wasn't optional. It was essential to healing, to justice, to moving forward without repeating the past. The massacre's legacy is now widely taught, serving as a rallying point for unity and the urgent need to protect Black communities from both internal division and external threats. Because they understood what Belinda Hunt emphasized: unity isn't just nice, it's necessary, it's survival. But we can't just look to the distant past. We need to examine more recent examples of what unity can accomplish in the face of overwhelming opposition. In 1966, the Black Panther Party was founded in Oakland. Now, the mainstream narrative wants you to believe they were just angry militants with guns and berets. But that's deliberate erasure of their most revolutionary work, feeding children. The Panthers' Free Breakfast for Children program fed thousands of kids every morning before school. They established health clinics, legal aid, educational programs. They understood that protecting and investing in the next generation wasn't just a nice idea, it was the foundation of community survival and liberation. And what happened? The FBI, under J. Edgar Hoover, identified the Panthers as the greatest threat to the internal security of the country, not because of their weapons, but because of their breakfast program. Because unity and self determination are always more threatening to oppressive systems than violence could ever be. COINTELPRO, the FBI's counterintelligence program, specifically targeted the Panthers, working methodically to create division within their ranks. They sent fake letters, spread vicious rumors, exploited existing tensions between members. They understood what Belinda Hunt emphasized in our interview. Division is the enemy of progress. Division is the tool of oppression. Despite this targeted campaign, the Panthers prioritized community accountability, mutual protection, and direct service. They built trust and solidarity among Black people that transcended class lines and petty differences. Their legacy endures as a testament to what Black unity, accountability, and intergenerational investment can achieve, even in the face of overwhelming opposition and deliberate sabotage. But unity isn't just historical. It's not just something we read about in books or see in documentaries. It's happening right now in communities across this country. In 2007, the North Carolina NAACP, led by Reverend William Barber II, convened a multiracial, multi issue coalition called Forward Together. They united diverse justice tribes to fight for the common good, recognizing that isolated struggles would never succeed against unified opposition. They faced entrenched division across labor, race, and generational lines, as well as fierce opposition from powerful political interests. But by reframing struggles like the Smithfield Workers' Unionization as moral and community wide causes, Forward Together mobilized broad support and fostered real unity that transcended traditional boundaries. The movement achieved significant labor victories, expanded voting rights advocacy, and built a powerful model for intersectional, intergenerational Black leadership. Their annual People's Assembly and successful campaigns have inspired similar movements nationwide, showing that unity isn't just possible, it's happening. It's working, it's winning. Their work demonstrates how unity, accountability, and investment in future generations can overcome division and create lasting change that benefits everyone, not just a select few. These aren't just nice stories. They're not just inspirational anecdotes to make us feel good for a moment before returning to business as usual. They're blueprints, their evidence, their proof of what's possible when we decide that our collective liberation matters more than our individual grievances. But let's be brutally honest about where we are now. We're in pain, deep generational unresolved pain. Black women carrying the weight of communities while feeling unprotected and unseen. Black men navigating systems designed for their destruction while feeling demonized within their own community. Elders feeling disrespected by youth who don't understand their sacrifices. young people feeling dismissed by elders who don't recognize their innovations and contributions. And beneath it all, as Belinda Hunt pointed out with unflinching clarity, is a fundamental lack of accountability. We must confront this lack of accountability within ourselves and our communities, especially recognizing the roles that both Black women and men play in perpetuating cycles of pain, mistrust, and disconnection. We must be willing to say the hard things, to have the difficult conversations, to examine our own behaviors and beliefs with the same scrutiny we apply to others. The healing begins with honest self examination, with conversations that might make us uncomfortable but are necessary for growth, with acknowledging harm without defensiveness, with listening, really listening to each other's experiences without rushing to judgment or dismissal, because our responsibility extends beyond ourselves. We must ensure that the next generation is loved, protected, and empowered with access to resources, education, and opportunities that affirm their worth and potential. We cannot continue to sacrifice our children on the altar of our unresolved conflicts and petty divisions. This isn't abstract. This isn't theoretical. This is about what happens in our homes, our churches, our community centers, our schools, our social media feeds, our everyday interactions with each other. This is about the small moments that either build trust or deepen division. It's about asking ourselves every day, am I contributing to unity or division? Am I holding myself accountable for my words and actions? Am I investing in the next generation in meaningful, sustainable ways? I know some of you are thinking, but what about systemic racism? What about white supremacy? Aren't those the real enemies we should be focusing on? Yes, unequivocally, yes. But here's what Belinda Hunt helped me understand with crystal clarity. Our internal divisions make us more vulnerable to external oppression. When we're fighting each other, we can't effectively fight the systems designed to keep us down. When we're undermining each other, we're doing the oppressor's work for them. Unity doesn't mean uniformity. It doesn't mean we all think the same way or have the same approaches to complex problems. It means we recognize our shared destiny and work together despite our differences, not in spite of them. So I stand before you today with a challenge that begins with me, with you, with all of us who claim to care about justice and liberation. The challenge is this: what are you willing to sacrifice for unity? What grievance are you willing to release? What accountability are you willing to embrace? What investment are you willing to make in someone who doesn't look like you, think like you, or share your exact experience? Because unity isn't just a nice word, it's not just a theme for Black History Month or a slogan for a rally. It's the difference between liberation and continued oppression. It's the difference between building something lasting for our children and leaving them the same broken systems we inherited. As Belinda Hunt reminded me with both fire and compassion in her voice, our ancestors didn't survive all they survived for us to destroy ourselves from within. They deserve better. We deserve better. Our children deserve better. The division stops with us. The healing begins with us. The future depends on us. And together, truly together, we are not just stronger, we are unstoppable.